In the grand, silent archives of the Galactic Consensus, our world had a name. They did not call us Earth or Terra or the cradle of humanity. They called us the quarantined world. For 100,000 years, their observatories watched, silent sentinels hidden in the dark between planets, cataloging our rise and fall. They saw us discover fire and forge steel. They read our poetry and flinched at our battle cries. They saw a species of breathtaking beauty and terrifying violence, a paradox they could not resolve. So they built a fence, not of wire or light, but of physics and silence, a cosmic timeout. They hoped, given enough millennia, we might calm down. They hoped until the hope of the entire galaxy was running out. The threat was not one they understood. It was the drift, not conquerors, consumers, a hive mind of cosmic locusts that didn't just destroy worlds, they unmade them. They fed on reality itself, on chaos, on pain. The consensus fleets met them with perfect logical formations. Their weapons were precise, elegant, and utterly useless. The drift was a cancer, and you cannot reason with a cancer. Worlds that had known peace for eons were scoured from existence. Their very atoms turned to dust. In 6 standard cycles, 12 core worlds were gone. The Galactic Consensus was shattered, not just in battle, but in spirit. Their logic had failed them. And in that despair, a heretical, desperate idea was born. A single battered scout ship from the militant Zon slipped through the quarantine barrier and entered our system. The year was 2247. Our first contact was not a greeting, it was a diagnosis. The Zon emissary stood before the United Earth Directorate. It showed us the recordings, the consumption of worlds, the failure of their perfect fleets, and then it delivered its chilling assessment. Your species possesses a unique resilience, a psychological adaptability rooted in conflict. Your wars, your traumas, have forged a neural architecture that can withstand the psychic scream of the drift. Your technology is primitive, but your mindset is the weapon. The offer was laid bare. They would give us the stars, FTL, shields, power cores, and in return, we would be their shield, their front line, the mad dogs unleashed. And we did not just accept their technology, we perverted it. Where they used plasma for precise cutting beams, we built giant, brutish cannons that overheated after 3 shots, because sometimes you just need to hit something really, really hard. Where they used gravity for smooth travel, we created localized riptides to tear our enemies apart. It was inelegant, it was wasteful, it was horrifying to our new allies, and it worked. The first engagement was a confused, chaotic mess. The consensus tactics called for holding formation. Our captain gave one order: break and engage. Hit them with everything, and then hit them with the pieces. Our ships, angular and covered in crude armor plating, swarmed the drift tendril. They rammed, they fired at point-blank range. It was a brawl, not a battle. But the true weapon wasn't the ships, it was the minds inside them. The psychic scream of the drift, which drove consensus crews to catatonia, washed over our soldiers, and they got angry. They remembered every loss, every pain, every scar, and they fed on it. They didn't just resist the dissonance, they weaponized it. We became the heroes the galaxy needed, the dauntless of Terra. But the consensus watched us and they did not understand the cost. They saw our soldiers return from battle not with serene peace, but with a cold, 1,000-yard stare. They saw us build monuments not to victory, but to the fallen. They played dirges at our celebrations. A Velm philosopher once approached one of our veterans, a man just sitting and staring at his hands in a beautiful, serene garden. "Your pain is evident," the Velm said, its voice a soft chime. "We offer you neural soothing, memory suppression. You do not need to carry these scars." The soldier gave a low, tired chuckle. "The scar isn't the wound, friend. The scar is the healing. It's the proof that you lived through it. We don't hide our scars, we learn from them. We make maps of our pain so we don't get lost in it again." He looked the alien in its eyes. "That's how we win." The final battle came for the core world of Xylos. The drift hive mind converged. It was a storm of unreality that would shatter any sane mind. The consensus fleet was pinned, their perfect systems failing against the formless horror. And then we arrived. Our fleet was a collection of scars and welds barely holding together. We looked less like a navy and more like a flying junkyard. But every weapon was hot. Every shield was at maximum overload. A consensus admiral, seeing our intended course a suicidal thrust into the heart of the Nexus, called it a tactic of despair. Our general, Eva Rostova, a woman who had lost her entire family to the drift, opened a channel. Her voice was calm, iron steady. "No," she said. "It's a tactic. This is just what it looks like when we have nothing left to lose." The charge was a symphony of chaos. Ships dissolved around us, but for every one that fell, 2 more pushed forward. The psychic scream reached a crescendo, a wave of pure madness meant to break us. It failed. They couldn't break our spirit because our spirit was already broken and remade 1,000 times over, stronger at every fractured seam. And in that moment, the human fleet did not raise a shield. We answered with a roar. A collective psychic projection of every human who had ever stood their ground. Every parent protecting a child. Every soldier holding a line. Every survivor of plague and war and famine. It was a tsunami of pure, defiant will. The drift, for the first time, encountered something it could not consume. Something more terrifyingly resilient than itself. It recoiled. And in that single fleeting moment of hesitation, General Rostova's flagship, the Unto the Breach, overloaded its core and turned itself into a star right at the heart of the Nexus. The silence that followed was absolute. The war was over. The drift were gone. The galaxy was saved. The consensus offered us everything: a seat at their table as equals, the secrets of the universe, a new perfect Earth healed of all its scars. And we refused. We thanked them sincerely, and then we asked them for one thing: to remove the quarantine. Not to let them in, but to let us out. We told them we were not meant for their perfect, orderly galaxy, that our strength doesn't come from stability, it comes from the struggle. It comes from the storm. We are the species that looks into the abyss not to understand it, but to build a bridge across it from the bones of our failures. So now our generation ships head into the dark, not sleek and elegant, but rugged and practical, headed for the unknown beyond the edges of any map. The galaxy thought we were a weapon. They were wrong. We are a warning to the darkness that there is a light in this universe that does not simply shine, it burns. And we are just getting started.